Hope you guys are all having a wonderful weekend. So far, it's pretty quiet on my side, but I know here in a bit it's going to start heating up with lots of fireworks going off. So I'm going to be muted a lot on this call, but I'll be listening in and probably typing in here in the chat as well.
Hey GM, we'll try our best to pick up the weight. Do you have a particular firework that you are most fond of that is used for, I guess, the Chinese New Year?
I don't even like. They have like boxes, and then you just there's like I don't know like any specifics. I don't really put them off. I just kind of watch them. Like when at midnight, I'm gonna go up on the roof, and it's literally 360 degrees, like fireworks going off in every direction. It's absolute madness. It sounds like you're in World War III. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. When I was a kid in the Bronx, fireworks were still legal in New York City, so we could get our hands on all types of stuff. So like my birthday's the 4th of July, we would go nuts. Like people would do crazy stuff, like blow up mailboxes and like telephones, but you can get access to some quality explosives back in the day.
Yes, sir.
White Ranger, you're from like Texas, right?
Go ahead.
GM.
How's it going?
Hey guys.
Hey.
Just discussing fireworks and hide your dogs. That's the only thing.
Hide your dogs.
Yeah, usually fireworks are bad for pets. I wonder how a raffle would handle a firework show. Like, would it be freaked out or would it just be like over it?
I feel like raffles are pretty unmoved by like most events. Maybe liquidators.
Wait, who was it yesterday? It was Hardcore that was saying that the raffle is the child of the liquidator and that we've like basically kidnapped all their children and this is probably why we're at war.
Yeah, he added another layer of depth.
Sounds like hardcore.
Yeah. Ooh, Transistor, I like that. Some fireworks in the Gotchi versus an Alchemica sync. That would be cool. Like have a little once we get the ability to do like drops on our events, be able to drop some Alchemica and then do a little light show or something.
Yeah, we actually have some of that kind of stuff in the works, guys. So don't know specific dates, but a lot of the designs are done for that. Just needs to be a little bit of dev muscle to implement it, but we're getting closer for sure to having some kind of drops in the Gotchi verse. Pretty exciting.
Ooh. Do you think you could provide a little more context? Like, is it like we were talking about piñatas a while ago? We've done like the turkey thing. Is this kind of following along that line there, or is this more like its own thing, kind of like what No Future was saying, kind of like a celebratory fireworks kind of thing?
You kind of like set it and tell it how much you want to drop, and then it's gonna spawn some things that you can.
Ooh,
kind of like a little mini game almost.
Oh, that's cool.
That sounds really cool. Do you know that with the drops, I'm assuming it's going to be Alchemica, but will glitter be able to be dropped? Because I know glitter's not worth much, but visually, imagine dropping like $5 of glitter on the gotcha. You probably freeze the whole district.
Yeah, seriously. We do plan to start adding more support for other tokens soon. So glitter will be one of the first, and then we do want to get Ghost and then Matic in as well. Once we start adding one more token, it'll be actually pretty easy to do more tokens. Once you've added the first one, then it's the 4 Alchemica, they were done kind of in a way that we have to change the infra a little bit to support more than the Alchemica, but once that's done, it'll be super easy to support. Like you could theoretically have like YGG token or other guilds, BPT, Blackpool token. I don't know if Orium has a token. Just random tokens could all be part of the Gotchi verse.
Yeah, that could be good for onboarding. Like some of the like we talked with in one of our Twitter spaces, Kronos. So or Genso Kishi, if they have any like tokens, we could
Yeah.
probably get their players in.
Yeah, we're getting tight with Ginso Kishi. I don't know about if you guys have been going to the spaces. You know, they're like I feel like we're pretty good friends with them now. We're like they're like hanging out on the Twitter spaces, chilling. I think they gave us like a parcel in their metaverse actually.
Yeah, they just had a huge land sale. Well, it wasn't a huge land sale. It was 500 parcels. But we were talking about their land sale last night, how these parcels, you know, if we do have one, we'll be able to build like dungeons. Like it's kind of like Sandbox where you can remove blocks and like carve things out into like a dungeon. And so the whole idea, I guess, behind their parcels is the parcel is your dungeon. Like you get to carve that out and make it your own. So maybe we could do like an Aavegotchi themed dungeon. That would be very cool.
So it's like you actually like you're kind of limited how big your dungeon can be and by how big your land is. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's 3 sizes of land, I think, that they have.
Cool. It was very generous. They hooked us up with like a parcel. I'm sure we'll need to do something with it.
Yeah, those parcels are rare. There's only 500 of them that they sold for their first land sale, but I think they're gonna trickle them out over time.
Cool. What was the floor price for the sale? Does anyone know?
I think it was 500 USD was the floor price for their sale,
Nice.
like their initial sale.
Actually, I checked out. We had on the Twitter space this week, One Planet, which is a new, like I guess, a new marketplace for PFPs on Polygon. And I picked up a Polygon Citizen because they were talking about that project. But it just surprised me because it's like, oh, it's PFPs, but they're priced in Matic, and this PFP was only 50 Matic. So I was like, oh, that's reasonable. Like even if this goes nowhere, I was able to pick one that I aesthetically liked, and like it was fun. So kind of gave me a little bit of Solana vibes, like going to Magic Eden and finding like some cheap PFPs to play with. And I think that's good because it's easier to get people into those kind of markets because it's not so speculative because it's so low price. And we were talking about this yesterday on District 420 / the Block Party. The idea that people say we're in a bear market, but I think we're only really in a bear market for speculation. There is no bear market for talent or for innovation or for shipping. So it's like, just put your head down and ignore all the noise because we're still moving and doing stuff.
Yeah, this is like the building time. This is the best time when builders can just do their thing, and when the next bull market does, that next wave of speculation does arrive, that the people who've been actually doing work during this time are like going to reap the benefits of it. That's generally how it works. Not for every project, but for a lot of projects, they do have that kind of that arc. And there's going to be plenty of new projects that come during the bull market. But yeah, if you're building now, you're probably going to be in a good spot when stuff starts heating up again.
Man, I have a feeling that the great battle will mark the bottom of this bear market. The great battle will kick off the next bull run. Maybe, who knows? Yeah. But sometimes maybe it could be those, like with Axie Infinity, it was almost like they launched their card game with their tokenomics and everything. And then the hype started with players joining in the Philippines and all this. And then before you know it, they're on the news, and then the bear market's going. And I don't know, maybe that sort of enthusiasm might be what we need right now in the bear market to get people excited about this space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another thing is like there's a lot to chew on with Aavegotchi. So like if the market's not doing so hot, you can distract yourself by building, essentially.
I think we're well positioned to actually start appealing to a different group that maybe isn't part of crypto, that is more into like the mobile phone games and this type of game where you're I don't know if you guys ever played like Maple Story or one of those types of games. I feel like this could appeal to those types of players. We're getting there. I think we're getting there. Maybe with the Great Battle and the Forge and some of these features that will be coming out soon. We might be positioned in a place where Aavegotchi might be something that is appealing at something like a game con, like not a Web3, but like a traditional gaming convention. I think that would be really interesting if Aavegotchi could be at some place like that, maybe in a year or two, once we've built up like robust features kind of similar to these other MMOs that are out there right now.
I mean, we could easily host some like PvP battles like you see with traditional games.
Yeah, someone on Twitter yesterday was talking about it in a thread, and it was like the current Web 2 or Web 3 games currently are not attracting, for the most part, not attracting the traditional group of gamers, but they are pulling in people who maybe traditionally didn't play games, but have now gotten into games through Web 3. So we have like a new crowd in Web 3 that appreciates games. We haven't got the traditional crowd hasn't come over yet, I think, but we'll see that at some point.
There's so much like misinformation about NFTs, and that's a lot of the mainstream gamers like hate NFTs for no reason. It's literally just because they saw like a John Oliver video on it or something, and it talks about like the environment and how NFTs are killing seals or something. It doesn't make any sense. But
not to mention like game makers and game artists also have those same opinions, and I've been running into that.
Yeah,
and some of these like job board postings and stuff. I just sent one in the chat.
Have you been able to convert any of those like artists, or are they just like no?
I have one. I was about to bring that up. Wood Murdered. He's the one that did the last Gotchi. So my deal with him is he actually like created a wallet and everything. And so the sales for his art is going to go towards obviously the cost to make it, and then anything extra, I'm going to get him his own fake. So I'm going to send him a fake, and then he's going to bootstrap his whole crypto journey through his art. So that'll be cool to like watch his story as he like enters the community through art and basically, does that.
Yeah, that's neat. That kind of reminds me of Rigo J. Mortis, who did a lot of these Aavegotchi portraits we still see around. He did that, and he made enough money from his first sale of art. This was before fake gotchis, and he was able to go buy his first gotchi with that.
Yeah, actually, we were looking at the queue yesterday, and like it started to get me thinking. Like, there's some great pieces in this queue that I could see eventually being games. Like the one with Dr. Robotlik. I was like, we need a gotcha. We need the ATF to start like sourcing games from some of these fake gotcha pieces, because I think they would be really cool.
Yeah, I also have the source files for anyone that wants to do that, and you can easily import them into Godot. Like, we are not far away from this happening. And then maybe you need an NFT to get access to the game. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I always thought of these fake gotchis, like a cool use case for them would be exactly what you said, where if you own the card, you can actually get rights to play the game. And you'd have like this small community of players that can get access to this, so that inherently would make the card somewhat valuable. There's a rare Pepe card like that. If you own the card, you can actually get access to like this theme park. It's within a game, but it's a theme park that nobody else has access to, unless you have that card. Ooh, Zbot. Yeah, I agree with that. Publisher of the Year, White Ranger. Artist of the Year, Soju.
I appreciate you guys. I got a few pieces in the works. Every bid just goes into more art. It's looking like you could own the whole collection for under 1,000 ghosts. I just do the 24-hour high incentives until they're gone. So I'm gonna try to keep it going.
Yeah, you've been pretty active with that. And so like when you're making profits off these cards after you sold them, what is your kind of approach? Like, are you going back out and buying more fake gotchi cards? Are you buying like other pieces of artwork? What's your
So
kind of
right now,
strategy?
the cart is before the horse. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but like I'm pretty underwater as far as like how much I've paid artists and how much I've made. With the sales that I'm getting, it looks to be about 1,000 ghosts. You could own the whole collection for about 1,000 ghosts, which is a little bit above what I'm out to pay the artist and get it made. So I mean, I can keep it going at these prices, and then if anyone's interested in like owning a whole collection, I just do the 24-hour consecutives, high incentive. This next round, though, I have 8 bids about to end right now, and one person that bids on one of those 8, or one person that wins one of the 8, will get a copy of my next 2 that make it through my queue.
Nice. And speaking of Soju is our he's going to be our creative / art director for our show. He's going to help us get together our new branding for our show, GMI Block Party. We're trying to broaden our audience in Web3 and kind of embrace our professionalism goal that we set out last year. So the new show is no longer going to be called District 420. We'll still have our 420 special every year, like we always do, but I think the show from now on will be referred to as the GMI Block Party, which kind of makes more sense in my opinion.
Yeah, we're still working on changing graphics and all that other stuff. So you'll probably still see District 420 here and there, but within the next month or so, we should get a big rebrand. Also, I'll drop a link to the interview because we were able to interview Soju, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool to see some well-known artists within our space in Aavegotchi, get to know them a little bit, and it was really interesting hearing his process and his background. He has an education in art, and so it's cool to hear about his journey there. And definitely go have a listen to that. It was good.
Also, I forgot to mention 2 of the 8 are mint number 1 of the Gotchinsons and mint number 1 of Gotchi Kong. So shout out to Kravitz for the Gotchinsons. I think that turned out pretty well, better than the original.
Yeah, I like the Gotchisons. It's a cool piece.
Well, it's also crazy because we were doing the math yesterday. Nadil is the number 1, or not Nadil. He was number 2 as of yesterday, but the number 1 collector had 65% of the collection, which, when you did the math, equated to 210 pieces in their wallet, unique pieces. 210 total in the collection. So I think we might have crossed the 10% usage of these cards already, the burn rate, because there have been, I figure there's been more than 20 cards that have been rejected in the last few months. So it's kind of surprising that we went through 10% in less than 6 months.
That was a huge burn so far. I'm quite impressed. How many we've burned so far. It's quite amazing actually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can keep the pace going forward, because it has been like a rush of work, and it doesn't seem like people are still putting out work. So I could see us getting to that 20% in faster than the 6 months, because now we have traction for the project. There's been volume. I forget what's the volume on fake gotchis at this point, not including 155,000 ghosts already have been spent on fake gotchis.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
157,734 USD. I wonder if that also includes the GBMs.
It does include the GBM. I'm not quite sure if it's including the wearable stuff. It might be. We did mention that in a call with our team last week, but I think he said it wasn't including it, but I have not double checked that. If so, that would be like two or three godlikes difference. So it could be that as well, but I'll actually check that. Haven't gotten around to it, but it's definitely above 100K, and which I think is pretty notable.
Yeah, and only what, like, we haven't even reached our 6-month mark yet. Are you guys in the Gotchi verse right now?
Yes, sir. It's
Nice.
I'm curious. I wanted to bring up the bigger installations that some people have been asking for. We are actually pretty much finished building those. They look pretty similar to the current ones. They're just bigger. So I am curious. Like, are you guys doing any cool galleries? Or I know there's galleries but events related to drops and stuff. Because I just want to see how everyone is using the displays, and if there's anything.
I spoke to one of my artists that's not crypto native, and I offered to set him up a wallet, name one of my Aavegotchis after them, and then have them come in and do like a gallery of their art. It was the Yokos, who has made 3 or 4 pieces, and I was telling them hey, it would be cool if you came in the game, and they didn't seem too interested in it. But I do have a few other artists that I'm working with now, so I might at some point do that. Bring all of them in so we can do a Q&A display of all the art.
Yeah, I'm just checking the messages here. Nice.
I'm experimenting a little bit. Probably gonna switch things up if you guys are releasing a bigger NFT display. We'll definitely want to get something like that.
Yeah, I have 2 galleries. The first, the Music City Gotchi Gang Gallery in District 27 will stay the same just because it's limited space. But I do have my annex that I've been working on in District 16. So that one's pretty much built out. But if you guys created larger displays, I have an adjacent parcel right under it that I would just create depending on how big the displays are, I would use whatever the maximum is to just cover that with maybe just a few pieces that I want to highlight.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have bigger ones soon.
You should. Are you gonna? I'm assuming it's gonna be both landscape and portrait.
Yes.
Larger ones, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Can you confirm how large they will be? I would love one. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I would definitely take a NFT display that could fill up a whole spacious. I know it'd probably be expensive as heck, but that would be really cool. Just to have people walk by and you see a huge single display.
That would be dope. We don't have one that big yet. But the new ones are going to be, the biggest one is going to be 16 by 16. So there's going to be a couple sizes within that. 16 is the size of a reasonable.
Okay, nice.
So you could fit 4 of them, I believe, on a spacious.
So for anybody who wants to make a twist game where you got to get on a certain color, we can probably all play it.
Have you guys considered putting out additional tiles that are larger as well, say the mosaic tiles in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone has any ideas on what you'd love to see, we're definitely Tiles are pretty light lift for us. We're just not. There's sometimes we're just like we're not really sure what would be cool to have as tiles. So if anyone has any like something you'd love to see, we can definitely make that happen. We are currently doing a kind of a review of what an NFT display tile would look like. It does raise a lot of questions. Like, could look pretty wild in the verse, but it is also a possibility on the radar. That would be a tile that it would be an NFT display that you could build on.
So what you're saying, I guess you could put like mosaic tiles and stuff over top of this display theoretically.
No, it would be the same as a mosaic tile, except it would just be you could customize it with an NFT display like on top, and then you could
gotcha.
put other installations and stuff on top of it. So you could theoretically have an installation, an NFT display on top of an NFT display tile. It would look pretty ridiculous, but it would be possible.
Yeah, I would like to see for tiles personally. I'd like to see some neutral colors. We did the grass and everything. We did some really colorful ones, but I'd like to see some more like neutral tones for just filling in space. I think would be useful, in my opinion.
Cool, yeah. So like some darker like black, white.
Yeah,
grays.
exactly. Dark white, black, white, gray kind of thing. Exactly.
Yeah, I like that also because then you could play around with like, the pixel artist can mess around with like kind of using that to create depth, like the black, white, and gray. But just for a simple chess or checkerboard, also on our plot, then we can play around and play some gachi chess.
Maybe you could have movable decorations that are like chess pieces, so you can like mint the land decorations. I don't know how this would work on the smart contract side, like to be able to move things like that without it costing like a whole bunch of matic. But if you have like a movable decoration where I could click it and drag it and it would still stay on my parcel, but it could stick to another tile, then that's pretty close to chess, right? At that point. Or checkers or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, getting everything on chain and making it work with your guys' smart contracts is always that extra layer of challenge that the regular game developers don't have to deal with.
Yeah, I made that reference. There's a lot of like projects out there. Some have game developers trying to do blockchain. Some have blockchain trying to do video games. I'd take the latter for sure. I've seen a few projects get rugged on back contracts.
Looks like Zbot's dropping some alpha here. Have you guys anybody seen this piece in the marketplace there?
This piece it's insane.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think Zbot's talked about the first fake Gotchi digital toy sculpture. Like this thing is real. I was on a call with him. He was showing me his collection of these like little digital Aavegotchis. I was like, holy shit, man. Imagine waking up and seeing that thing staring at you. Oh, Choina, nice. It's such like the quality is insane on this thing. It is so well crafted. Props to Zbot for like he's been spending a lot of effort on like making this.
So those are 3D printed and then smoothed in some way, I'm guessing.
They almost look molded, to be honest. They look like one of those molds where you have a injection mold kind of thing. So it's like one complete piece, maybe. I don't know. It looks really, like you said, really well made.
Crazy.
Is that where you like treat them with chemicals to smooth them out, Zbot?
Oh, he said hand painted too, apparently. Wow. And a little alpha here. I don't know if it's in his post, but if you guys have that previous piece he dropped of just the Gotchi gem, if you have that and you collect this, you will get the physical Gotchi gem also. Yeah, there you go, Choina.
Trina, did you already get those? Did he already ship them to you?
No,
From the Medium
yeah, I think these
article.
are from his article there.
So good. Like they look insanely cool. I told him we have some ones that have wearables on them, and I was like, man, if you can just make it so that the wearable can be like attached, like almost like a Mr. Potato Head or something. This will be it'll be nuts. So we're aiming for that, guys. So having like that, the diamond would be attached, but like the hat or like a weapon or like the pants or whatever, would you could take them on and off just like a Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, what would we call that toy though? Because we can't call it Mr. Potato Head. We have to call it something else, right? We'd have to figure out some sort of
Magnets. Yeah, magnets would be cool.
Magnets, yeah.
Call it a My Gotchi.
My Gotchi?
Yeah, it's a My Gotchi, like a My Buddy,
Yeah, I like
but
it.
the Gotchi version.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can only get the wearable if you own it in the game. You have to burn the wearable to get. No, that would be intense. Like destroy your mythical item so that you can get the mythical My Gotchi wearable.
Yeah, when
Shout out
got
to-
the toys.
Shout out to Smokescreen. Looks like your stickers arrived.
Oh, shout out to
those
Goobs.
stickers look
I
great.
provided him my address. He's going to be sending me that the Lictor Alive wood the wood burn piece that he made, the physical. And I asked him to sign it, so I'm looking forward to receiving that.
I was chatting with the Chainlink guys today because there was an issue with some of the VRF, and while I was chatting with them, I mentioned I think it was who made this piece. I think Goobs was the publisher. Who I forget who the artist was. This Get Lucky piece, just like raising as it Stomper, it's raising their awareness of like the community is like making VRF art now. It's so cool with like Chainlink and VRF in it. So they were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." Might be able to get. Still need to get Sergey's eyes on these things, but I asked them if they wanted one. It's such a powerful way to have these collaborations. We're still working on some big collaborations. You guys might know one or two of them try and get some actual like other brands using fake gotchis as a way to collab with us. I think it's gonna go really well. We just need to get one fairly large one, and then it'll just kind of serve as the bellwether for the other ones. So fun. Such a cool way to do like art collabs.
Yeah, it's a great way to empower artists too, because we've seen, like, we were talking to Soju last night, who said, he went to art school, he got into doodling, kind of put the art thing to the side, and once fake gotchis came out, we all like Aavegotchi, so it kind of re-sparked that interest of getting back into art.
Yeah, now he's like the art director. That's super cool to see the path of like going from creating art to now. I mean, kind of getting like either a full-time or part-time job in Web3.
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
really awesome.
Oh, Dr. Wagme, we're exploring pathways to custom background designs for gotchis. Absolutely. I think that's something we discussed in the early kind of Aavegotchi days when there was a big thread about adding something special for the H1s. And so all the H1s got a specific, a unique background. But then we left it at that. We didn't actually come out with any more backgrounds after that. So it could be interesting.
I'm curious what people think for like going forward. Now that we're going to have the Forge, it's almost like the first step in having the more community curated wearables. I'm curious to hear if I don't know if Notorious BTC is on the call, but how his experience was kind of making some of the wearables, and how does he think like is this process something that we could open up to more members of the community, because it's a pretty rigorous process, but it would be really cool to have a similar idea to like a Fake Gotchi's queue, but for wearables. We could have a wearables card, right? And something like if you want to make a godlike, you gotta burn a godlike card, or like there could be something like that. Would be fascinating to have some sort of mechanic like that.
Yeah, and those designs that were, I mean, they were actually kind of leaked by accident, but then eventually dropped by the Forge team. They look fire. Like the one with we were all asking, what's the one that's like, I guess, the pixel crafter. It seems to be holding a pixel, but the pixel has like multiple colors in it. So there was like a little debate on whether a pixel, a pixel's supposed to be a single color. So we were trying to figure out what that thing was. This one, yes, the one that you just put up, Cutter Dan. But all of them look great. Like they all look amazing. Oh, that's Pixelcraft Square. I'm such a small brain. Damn.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, GM.
GM.
Yeah, it was fun, but pretty challenging process to get the wearables. I think you guys have always mentioned, like, it's not an easy process, but it's really not. Like, there's a lot that goes into bringing those wearables to life. Just like the sheer amount of like different pixel art that needed done. So like for the godlike set, I think there's like 26 different like art views, like arms up, arms down, from the side, like back. Like it's not just doing the front facing art that is kind of fun to like do on our own. So if we did have a path towards creating your own wearables, we would need it to be like pretty operationalized, and then have someone designated to transition from that initial idea period to like translating it to the Gotchiverse in the actual NFT. So whether that was like using Zbot or Notorious or having someone in that designated role, we would need someone to help, obviously. And then, we love creating the wearables. I think fakes have really spoken to the hope that the community can build and create and make things that are unique. And I think community created content is the future of like our success. So I would love to do that, and we can model, fakes, the fake cards distribution plan or something similar to make that available. I think for me, having a really nice fine-tuned process to do that's probably like 6 months out, and it would be less of a hurdle to have a pathway towards backgrounds from the community. But curious on we haven't talked about that. I wanted to hear what your thought was.
Yeah, I think a background, like I love the Fake Gotchi's model because it has the royalties. So we could theoretically try and have a background card that people like, you would burn it, and basically you'd try to create like a cool background for the Gotchi and get it through a queue. I think it's worked pretty well with Fake Gotchis. That would be one model. Another model would just be more of like a curated committee kind of model where people could submit things, and every quarter that we could basically choose some and then make a snapshot poll for which ones get the highest amount of votes, and those would also become kind of added to the list. I don't think there's any correct way, but how can we do it in the most decentralized way and get the best kind of art, and also reward the artists for their work?
Sure, and I think this would be a really fun way to engage guilds. Having a shared background would be really fun. I don't know what it would take to get like your background to essentially like display or like convey something in the Gotchiverse? So like, could you have your name like Dr. Wagme and then, parentheses or brackets, like the vault as like the guild if I had the vault background. And you could, it would mean more than just being your background. It could be kind of your in-game guild designation or other use cases like that.
Yeah, you could always do like a player profile like they had in WoW. Like when you would click a player, it would like bring up like a small profile.
Yeah, we're actually working on that. It's been kind of in the works for a while. It just got kind of pushed because other things were higher priority. But it is coming, and we've actually been talking internally about having a background release. So definitely in the works. There's no specific designs to share yet, but that would go perfectly with that release where someone could click on your Gotchi. Obviously, the background's not going to show when you're walking around, but they click on your profile picture. They click on your Gotchi, which then opens like a little pop-up that would show the Gotchi with the background. And then also, if you guys played the arena, you know that the Gotchi is kind of at the bottom of the screen, and it's got a background. So that background would also be perfect for showing off like in the arena area. And that HUD is going to be moved to the main Gotchiverse pretty soon as well. So there will be some opportunities to show off backgrounds for sure.
Here's what the community thinks, like where should we focus value accrual for this? So say we did have a process of creating your own background, making it like, is this something we would just want to like be purchasing Ghost, give Ghost utility, put it in the DAO wallet? Is this something like people would want to like forge like using Alloy, like, or is it a combination of both? Like you have some like special background card and you use that plus Alloy to bring it. Where do we want to focus value for backgrounds? Because they are kind of a standalone item that's not BRS modifying. Doesn't necessarily feel like a wearable, but it's also a slot. Curious to hear what people think.
Yeah, I guess we would want them to be well crafted, and I guess the main question is, do we want them to be quite scarce in a way that wearables are? It's all about scarcity with the wearables, and because they don't influence BRS, they're almost more like tiles or decorations, but for a Gotchi. So I think we want to enforce high quality. We don't want a bunch of trash art like being made into backgrounds. So some sort of curation, I think, would be necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
But then it's like, who's doing that curation? Is it that's why we like the fake Gotchi's Q model, because everyone's doing the curation. But we do have the final say currently, and we'll execute on that. So it could be something like that as well.
Yeah, it's really fun for you guys to have pioneered the fake process, and then we can model other things after that because it's been such a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with adding backgrounds. It doesn't currently inflate anything in our ecosystem, so it would be cool. Because there's also a ton of I don't know how H2 Gotchi holders, people who don't own H1s, if they feel like they're missing out. But I like seeing seeing the H1 background like kind of makes me feel great because it's like, yeah, I'm part of it. So having some kind of something for the other Gotchis would be nice too.
Yeah, Jisui has a good thought about it. Would we want there to be an Alchemica sync for these? There typically we don't do that with the wearables. It's mainly Ghosts, but the backgrounds are they are displayed in the Gotchiverse, so there could be an argument, but we have to make that decision as well.
Right. I think with any content we put out, like where we're accruing value, what's capturing the value is really important. So I look forward to more discussion on that. I might start a formal thread and kind bump here in the chat. I'm going to put a link to, we're trying to get a full document out that has everything about the Forge in one place. It's been hard to keep up with many different discussions and SIG props. And this, I think, has everything in one spot about the Forge. We're going to do some final touches for it. And then Mikey J needs to look it over to make sure he agrees with everything I have here. But wanted to share that with you guys and look forward to a core prop coming soon to launch the Forge.
Is there anything about the special item that you've kind of alluded to in the stock?
Yeah, we name it in the doc. So
Oh, cool.
geodes, and geodes are going to be obtained when you smelt, and there will be a VRF process to win what's inside the geode, which is pretty cool. Ends up being pretty complicated, so it's a lot of work, and we're still trying to do the math and what the smart contract stuff works like. But that'll probably be Forge 1.1 is the geode release, and we'll talk more to the community about that once we have some math and smart contract stuff figured out.
Oh, so that's not part of the release that's going to go out in a couple weeks, or is it? I don't actually see geodes in this doc.
Right, it's purposely not in there. So
Okay.
I don't know if Diddly is going to be able to get it done, but we're trying really hard, or at least a limited geode launch in order to support everything else that's launching.
Got it. Hey, while you're here, there was an interesting kind of a contract decision that we had to make a couple days ago. I don't know if how keyed into that you were, but it's basically it was kind of an attack, or not an attack vector, but it's a way for users to get wrecked pretty easily. The idea of the gotchi, the forged object moving with the gotchi, right? There were some definitely vulnerabilities with that. So what we ended up doing was, if the gotchi is forging, it just can't be transferred. It's the contract literally says, "I'm forging." What did it say? I think I have to find the exact.
I'm busy.
It's I'm busy forging. Go away, or something like that. It's pretty funny because it makes sense. The gotchi's busy. It's forging. So if you don't spend glitter, your gotchi is going to be forging until the period ends, and then it would be transferable again. But that basically fixes the issue, because it could have been a pretty big mess. It reminds me of how the Bored Apes introduced ape staking, and then all these guys lost all their ape because they sold their ape to someone else, and that guy was able to pull out all the ape. So
right.
We didn't want that to happen with Aavegotchi. So we just said, if it's forging, we're gonna lock it from being transferred. Just like if it's not exactly how it is with the bazaar, because that you can unlock it by transferring it. But with the forging, it actually is a full lock on that wallet until the forging is complete.
Quick question: with forging, we're going to be using glitter. If we start a forge without the glitter, will we be able to speed it up after the fact, like we can with installations?
Diddly, he still has to add that, but that's the plan.
Yeah, forging is a difficult business. You got to focus. You don't want to be transferring around to other owners. You actually might screw something up. So I think it's a good decision. I don't see any major downsides, except for the fact that you can't move your gotchi. But eventually it would be unlocked, even if you lost your private key, or you couldn't access that wallet for some time. It's not like it's going to be trapped in there forever. It'll eventually unlock, if you were forging a godlike or something.
Right.
So
I think
it's pretty cool.
One potential downside, I think the idea of monetizing your gotchi smithing skill was pretty cool. You have a good smith. Can I rent that out to someone, and then they would pay me extra to forge something with them? And you won't be able to do that with this release. I think you have to be the owner. Gotchi has to be in your wallet, and then it's going to stay there until you're done forging. But I think it's worth going that path and avoiding the community getting wrecked or losing their items. So I think it's the right call, and definitely appreciate the feedback from Pixelcraft on getting it right.
Yep. Yeah, we gotta do better than the apes, guys. Those guys are constantly losing stuff because of just bad decisions that the ape stakers whoever made that made. Every time I go on Twitter, it's like, oh man, this guy ape just lost like it's just bad.
Everything.
So
Yeah. They,
seems almost intentional, to be honest.
it could be, a lot of it could just be people like writing off tax losses and stuff. Who knows?
They actually suffered some botting issues, but apparently in their Dookie Dash release, and they had server issues, so they had to take the game down for a little bit. So it was interesting to see this $1 billion, project just trip out the gate.
Yeah, I mean, botting is so hard there's no like amazing perfect solution for it unless it's an economic solution. You're always going to be fighting off bots, and the server. I haven't played the game yet. I'm sure they got clobbered pretty hard though. But yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. Tech is tech. No matter how much money you throw at it, like there's always going to be edge cases you didn't think about that will. So I'm sure they're doing good work on that side. I haven't seen it get hacked yet. I was on Twitter, so they've done a pretty good job with that. At least it hasn't been like hacked by people. Has anyone played it? I'm curious to see what you guys think of Bored Ape's first game.
I think it's quite exclusive.
I heard it's very pay to win, right?
Yeah.
Just pay money to.
So I believe we were talking about this a little bit last night, and you have to hold a specific pass to actually get access to the game, and the passes are tiered, and the tier of pass you get will depend on how many of the assets you hold. So I think you initially got the Bored Ape, and then there was a few other airdrops that came after it, and so if you held on to the airdrops of the other characters, you get a higher tier pass. And the pass is tied to like a multiplier, I guess, like for the points.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's quite exclusive. Like I'm not sure how, like in what way it was getting botted, but maybe, I don't know. No Future, you might know.
Well, it's just people hinting at botting, and then more so than the other thing, it's like one of the big things about this, which is kind of interesting, is to play the game, you have to burn the ape coin. You're buying these like power shard. I think that's what it's called, a power shark pack or something like that. So it is kind of pay to win, but it's like win to mint, sort of like where you place on the leaderboard is like ability to mint the new whatever the hell that's coming out. It's going to affect like resources or something on your parcel. I haven't read too much fully about it. Yeah, it's a power shark. That's what it's called, I believe. The whole thing's crazy if we think about it. We have a whole bunch of rich degens playing a game trying to get a key out of a monkey's butt by flying through a sewer system. It's kind of crazy.
I was not really enthused by the whole like toilet humor aspect of it. I was like, why didn't they just do like if they're an apes? Why couldn't they just do like something like cool related to apes, like a Donkey Kong thing?
Well,
so I think that a lot of their holders.
When I was originally in their Discord in like May and June, July of 2021, they had one of the big selling points for the Bored Ape Yacht Club was that you had access. If you had a Bored Ape,
the sewer,
you can
like
access
the bathroom.
Yeah, so like I remember people drawing on it. It's completely different now, and there's other utility apparently.
I love that comment by Aavegotchi. They're calling the game the Trial of Jimmy. So when people search Yuga Trial, their Dookie games up. That maybe that could be right. I don't know. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I think it's lore. I mean, I wish they had done a less like pay to win game that was actually kind of more fair for people. Because it's just gonna kind of give NFT games, like actual NFT games, not on-chain leaderboards and stuff, more of like this reputation of being like, it's just totally pay to win. You just buy a boost and you can win the game. I think it needs to be balanced better than that.
Yeah, I think what makes games fun is that win-loss. Like, there's something to win, but you also have something to lose if you're not that good. Or like that's what makes the arena exciting, is if you're not that great, you're gonna get blasted and lose all your alchemica. So I think that tension is good. Like you need that in games.
Yeah, like having some stakes is nice, but then there needs to be like a limit on how high those stakes can go, or like how much they shouldn't be able to just walk in with like 100K and buy a win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of lore, we got our great battle that we'll probably have sometime this year, right? I think I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the arena as well, but just in regards to like the lore and seeing some of that unfold, I'm looking forward to seeing what the great battle is gonna look like. What are there gonna be events leading up to that? That sort of thing. So yeah, it's kind of. Are there any more details some alpha maybe on the great battle if you guys have been working on that?
We're definitely working on some very, very exciting game stuff that we'll have some more news on that pretty soon. So it definitely relates to the great battle in a way. But I can't say, honestly, I can't say much more yet.
Maybe there's a secret trapdoor in the arena.
We're gearing up for a massive 2023, is all I can say.
Oh man, that is alpha right there. I mean, I was saying last night, I don't think like just like the utility value of the Aavegotchi has been fully unlocked yet. Like that hasn't been realized yet, because once we get the arena, we'll get to realize the value of like the specific wearables, how they work with certain builds. And so that'll be really good to know. That's something we've discussed like on Gotchi Spaces for a long time. And so then we'll have that. And then once the other releases come out before the Great Battle, we'll get to know, what exactly these specific wearables do. I think you said there might be like specific features, per wearable, things that items could do, unique item or unique things that the items could do. That's going to add even more depth to like to these assets, like what they can do aside from the aesthetics, but also now like these things have utility, like the wearables have real utility. So
yeah,
I'm really excited about it. Oh, I was gonna just piggybacking on Hefe. I agree. I think we have yet to see all these assets like realize all the things they can do. Like for gotchis, for instance, I think Essence could be a really powerful tool. Like imagine like games that are built on it, and if you need more hearts or you need more lives, you would just like use some Essence. Like it's going to be a tradable token, and you can just like fill up on Essence that way, or perhaps like it requires a little bit to play the game, and so you can have kind of something that feels like whatever the apes are doing with it takes some ape token, but we're instead accruing that value to the gotchis themselves. And I think that composability is going to be really cool and offer some support to whatever native asset we think needs it or makes sense.
yeah, I just really like the levers that you get from the forge. Like there's so many different ways. I think we briefly in passing mentioned using some of these tokens to possibly craft. You could even craft items in maybe in another game. For example, maybe you have a racing game, and to actually craft your vehicle in the game, maybe you need something like Essence or Alloy or something to actually build this thing so you can actually use it, in the game. So I'm really excited to see like what these fractionalized components of the wearables will be used for as well. That's gonna be really interesting also.
Hey guys, not to jump in, but I got to get off here. I got to get back to being a dad. I appreciate the support. I'll keep the art coming. You guys are crushing it. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you, sir. I want to jump back here to Dr. Wagme's comment question. Week 1 of the spending competition ends tomorrow. How's everyone feeling that it went?
I'm going to jump over to the leaderboard here. Yeah, I'm going to go have a look at Gotchi board. I'll drop the link if someone could drop the link.
I think I posted a tweet. It seemed like just in the first 24 hours, we doubled, was it, or at least exceeded the same amount of Alchemica spent in the previous week. So obviously there was a period leading up to the competition where people may have not been spending as much. But going back a couple weeks, I'd have to check and see what things look like back in October. But it was looking pretty good. There was a lot of spending happening.
I think people spent more than I was anticipating that they would. It'll be interesting to see if that holds up for additional weeks or if it was just first week excitement.
I'm gonna check and see if this might have been the biggest week ever in terms of just raw Alchemica spend. Because if you go back to like June, everything is like the prices of them were much significantly higher. So it does make a difference in USD terms. But in raw Alchemica terms, I think this was the biggest week ever for spending. If anyone can find a week that was bigger, do let me know. Like August was pretty big. Just looking at the great site here by Mark Immaterial. Very handy to be able to check the different weeks. Yeah, it seems like this was the biggest week ever in terms of Alchemica spending. So that part is definitely going well.
Yeah, that is interesting to see the spike there. I'm looking at it now. You can see from the last week, and then you can see from just the competition.
The circulating supply of FOMO went from 17 mil down all the way to like 13 mil in just a week. That's pretty nuts.
And doing some math, it looks like at current Alchemica prices, it was 111,000 US dollars worth of Alchemica spent in week one, which is definitely more than I expected. And then one of the things I've been enjoying is the battle between Keck and FOMO. So like FOMO overtook Keck earlier in the week. Keck's back on top. But if we have 3 more weeks of building, I think we're going to see FOMO appreciate some more.
Yeah. If you could run the numbers at the original Alchemica prices, I'm also curious to see, looking at it at current prices, doesn't tell the entire story. But if you look at like what it was,
what were they?
Whatever it was, I'd have to go on like CoinGecko and check it out. But you can probably check it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do it.
I guess if you look at just like January 15th or January 16th, that day, right? Be curious to see what the difference was. But yeah, I think either way, I think we blew through the 20K that was allotted for the first round. And then every round, the leaderboard resets, right? So next week, this leaderboard, we're starting at 0 again. And we'll probably get a similar burn, or maybe not as crazy, but it depends on, a lot of it depends on the incentives as well. But I think it'll be pretty significant. This is what we're trying to aim for, right? Like we're trying to aim for a positive EV competition where 1 ghost spent burns more than the equivalent of 1 ghost of Alchemica. I think that definitely happened for this first round. So kudos to the Gotchi board team and everyone. Just kudos to the guys actually building. And yes, I think it's really, really cool to see this activity happening and coming together.
Yeah, you can see like these charts that you're sharing here are Dune Analytics, that it is having an impact. So that's really interesting to see. And yeah, so another point here that Grim makes is Grim R makes is what do you guys think, with the 50 top spots right now versus if the top spot was only 1,000 ghosts, but then there was 1,000 spots rewarded on the leaderboard. We wouldn't really know till we did this, but like, in your opinion, do you think that the top 50 is going to result in more spending than if we had like 1,000 people on the leaderboard? Or do you think it'd be the other way around, where if we had more people, that we get even more spending? I'm kind of curious, actually.
Typically, if in games where there is not a lot of collusion, so like games where people are acting independently of each other, a higher total, like a higher first place, second place, third place, I think you're trying to aim for to get the highest kind of first place prize. That higher prize will lead to more competition at the top, which is I think Mark initially had it as like 25, and then updated and made it 50. So the original thinking was we're kind of using more of a poker leaderboard and trying to optimize for the maximum amount of competition at the top, because that's where the majority of the spending will be. It's going to be like the top 3 or even the top 10. It drops off significantly when you get down to like the top 10 to 20. It's still significant, but once you pass like the top 25, it starts getting pretty small. So I think top 50 makes a lot of sense. Top 25 could have been also very interesting, and top 100 may be interesting, but it's in the end it's just going to make the top 3 a little bit less attractive to those like the heavy spenders.
Looked like at pre-competition valuations, it was $96,200 worth of Alchemica. So still beating the ghost value, which is good. And one of the things I liked about having top 50 is you see people at that bottom of the leaderboard like minting a lot of NFT displays and getting a discount for it, because Alpha and Keck goes a little bit further in the competition. So it's one way to mint some NFT displays over the next couple of weeks and get a little bit of a rebate.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I could see it definitely dropping off, and I see why he did the top 50. It makes for some interesting. I think I'm going to try and note these addresses down so we can keep track of the leaderboard shuffles. It's a little bit more difficult, right, with all the addresses compared to rarity farming when you have the names. But I'll be keeping an eye on this. I'm sure we all will.
So it looks like roughly 5 times the amount of Alchemica in ghost terms was spent compared to the reward for this round. You said it was about 96,000. Was that ghost or USD? Or it's pretty much the same right now. It goes to the dollar.
Yeah, that was in US dollars. It's about the same.
That's awesome. That's like a great ROI for this ghost. To give a comparison, I think for the mosaic tiles, it was like 2 or 3 to 1. So definitely 5 to 1 is pretty nice. I think it's could just be because it's the first one. If we tried this in 6 months from now, it'd be interesting to see what the result was. But I think we're very open, and I think the DAO should be open to using these kind of micro amounts, but not 80K is not micro, but compared to our overall treasury, it's pretty small. Like these medium-sized stimulus occasionally just to try and balance out some of the inflation that's happening from harvesting and channeling. It's I think it's pretty helpful to the economy, and it's just good to get the data to see what these kind of experiments can yield us.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a couple guilds jump in too. Maybe that was already happening with these first couple, but Like for the vault, for example, so the vault has a bunch of Alchemica has about like $7,000 worth. So the options are like, do you just sell it on the market and accrue value to Vigos holders, or do you participate in the ecosystem? And this like really incentivizes buying parcels, building them, and then participating in a way that's like more healthy and synergistic. So I think that's one extra advantage of competitions like this is there's reason to build and get involved and avoid that Alchemica hitting the market.
I will say, without giving away any information, that I know of a guild that's going to be jumping in pretty heavily in the coming weeks to this competition. So, they're coming. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Nice. Excited to see what Orium's going to do there. Can you tell me what week they're going so I can avoid it?
I cannot give any information beyond that.
All right. I had to try.
Too much, but whatever.
I haven't shot my shot yet, so I gotta still decide.
That's right, timing, right? Yeah, it's like
I was considering that because the round we've ended only the first week of round 1, right? The multiplier resets tomorrow, correct?
I think tomorrow's the last
Monday,
day.
Yeah. Monday 0, like basically 0:00 a.m. UTC time is when it resets.
Okay.
Have you guys all filled out the 2023 Gotchi census? I'm assuming if you're here, you probably have, but
Yes.
I'll drop the link just in case.
Filled it out.
We've
my
got-
status
I'm gonna-
now.
Is it's complicated or?
Well, no, I'm dating, I guess. So I put that.
Yeah, we didn't do the Facebook option where it's complicated. Probably should have. We're up to 460 responses. We're aiming for 500. It'd be sweet. This is gonna be great information for a new member of the team that we have coming on very soon. I don't know. I don't think we've said too much about it, but this is going to be very, very, very helpful for that individual.
You guys getting
Okay.
Vitalik? Got Vitalik
Yeah.
on the protocol.
He is aware of Aavegotchi, but I don't think he's ever tweeted about us.
It is my
Danny,
mission to find Vitalik at Eat Denver and shill him Aavegotchi, even if it's for 30 seconds.
That'd be great.
Well, actually, that reminded me of a question I wanted to ask about if the ETH Denver proposal were to go through that we have for the Gotchi Lodge, would we be able to have Pixelcraft on the Aavegotchi, app.aavegotchi.com landing page, create like a tab that, like in the center for ETH Denver, which would be a hyperlink to possibly a Medium article that kind of would serve as like an onboarding spot for like devs and pretty much anybody. Like a way that if we're on the street and we're shilling Aavegotchi, that we can send them to a simple, like directly to the app, and then they can go from there.
So onboarding is definitely one of our biggest pain points that we're aiming to solve this year. What would you want them to do with the app specifically?
Well, they would basically go to app.aavegotchi.com. There would be that tab that leads to the Medium article. And for ETH Denver specifically, it would have maybe some important dev information right there. And then for just general onboarding, like it could be different tabs, like for people to get Gotchi pilled, but an easy, like simple, specific to ETH Denver for that onboarding effort tab of information.
So, I mean, we could set up app.aavegotchi.com/ETH Denver. That could redirect them directly to the Medium article if you wanted. Someone
that'd be
could set up
perfect.
like someone could also set up like a very, very simple landing page. We could link that externally. That would just, if it would go there, that would be another option. But yeah, medium probably would be the simplest. But there would be another option of having like a basic landing page if someone wanted to go the extra mile and get that set up. Just kind of anticipating what questions and needs some of these guys might have. You can set up a landing page in a couple hours with I think it's still around, this platform like Unicorn platform. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful software.
This
these
is
guys
cool.
they got
Really cool.
acquired a while back, but I think they're still pretty powerful stuff.
It's helpful.
Yeah. So if you want to make like a basic landing page, that could also work. You really don't need to know any code with this. It's a pretty good no code landing page builder.
What was the name of that? Unicorn?
Yeah, unicornplatform.com. You can make a blog, I think. Yeah, he's got, it's like one guy, I think, building it, one or two guys, but he's come a long way. I was following them for a while. So now they have like a blog. You can do payments with Stripe. All responsive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty nice templates. But yeah, I think we could definitely do something a little bit special for the ETH Denver crew.
I have a couple thoughts on ETH Denver and people going and Gotchi people going and repping and all of that. That the past 5 minutes has sparked something. Do we have a hackathon bounty? Does Aavegotchi have a hackathon bounty out for ETH Denver? Would that be worth exploring, putting up, creating some incentive for the Biddle week?
Yeah, because they got something called the Biddle Palace. I think maybe that's what you're referring to, right? It's going to be a place where developers or people who are just maybe not specifically focused on a specific initiative at ETH Denver can actually go grab bounties that other projects have put out there. So if there's something that Aavegotchi would like to see get built, we can put that out as a bounty, and then there's going to be a group of people at ETH Denver that will be basically like free agents scouting for like cool bounties that they could build things for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly like just exposing like the exposure in general, and if we put it out there for developers so that it can dawn on them how composable it all is and how free they are to develop whatever they want and how fun it is and built-in ecosystem already, or players in the ecosystem. Could be interesting. Certainly could be interesting. So I'll throw that out there if anybody wants to go deeper on that. I'm certainly down. In terms of Vitalik, we I don't know if Young Kid Warriors is here this day today in the hangout right now, but at Shenanigan, like almost 2 years ago now, we made it a like a goal like within the team to like make Vitalik aware of Shenanigan. And I think Gitcoin grant round 11 or 12, he always does like a review of all of the different grants. Or he used to do like a video session, and like he shouted us out in that grant round, and it was like, wow, mission complete. I think we can all visualize here together, everyone that's here now. Like we'll get Vitalik on the team. And on the team I mean like somebody get him a demo of Aavegotchi in front of him, like show him how fucking cool it is. One of us will get that shot. So make the most of it when you do it. We all visualize Vitalik playing. He will be playing eventually. There was something else. I'm sure we all will be, but like I'm gonna be super visible with my Gotchi stuff. Anything Gotchi I will be wearing. Hats, clothes, all of it, and the more on display it could all be for everyone that's going to be there. And also having your like 30-second, 60-second demos ready to go, like explainers for people, will go a long way. Um, so whole bunch of thoughts in one there. But if there's anything needed to push forward for the hackathon bounty or incentivizing it, maybe things that would need to be prepared there, docs or tools for devs. I think that could be pretty big as well.
Yeah.
Maybe ATF could do something with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. Maybe we don't need to have a full-blown hackathon, but maybe we put a couple bounties out there. If there's a tool that the community would really like to see built on Aavegotchi, and if the ATF has a mini game idea or something they want to put out there, I think we should assemble those as bounties and have them out there as some Aavegotchi bait, for some developer who might be really interested in interacting with the protocol. There's something there for them. Great ideas.
The bounty itself could be how do we explain Aavegotchi in 30 seconds? Somebody can just come up with that.
I think this is a
It
good
didn't
idea.
land. That joke didn't land. But yeah,
I was gonna say, speaking of all this, Hefe, can you remember we mentioned it last night? Do we have a link to the our GMI syncopator call? Because we actually talked about our whole, because we're gonna talk about it tomorrow during the DAO call, but we actually had a full conversation, like over an hour, dedicated towards ETH Denver, our plans, going through our document. So it might be wise if you are interested for to drop the link here so that Gotchi Gang can go and watch that ahead of tomorrow, so that we can just get down to the nuts and bolts.
ZombieShepherd might have the recording. I know we did record it live, so it is on our Twitch. I think it should be on our Twitch.
Yeah, I'll be able to drop it in a few minutes. Give me a second.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, good. Nice plug, Coder Dan. There's a huge conversation happening in the DAO forum here if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, and I'll say part of that request for that landing page was to address something that Bearded brought up. That was a great point, that like the team that's currently going to be there, there's not a lot of dev experience on this team. So it might be wise to have a pitch deck or something that we can go with so that non-dev crew can still communicate our networking and onboarding message to the devs that we're hoping to network and onboard.
that would be really, really huge. This kind of relates to a greater thought that I've had recently, but specifically for ETH Denver, in a hackathon contest or context, but or just building or a bounty or whatever we'll call it. The README to get devs up and going is really important. The more that we can hold their hand through taking them through all the essentials and the gotchas of getting up and running, where all the different addresses are, you'll need this and that, the better, just the easier for them to just get up and running and their local terminal is going and everything's working, they can just start building, would be huge. Coyote put out a great template for mini game stuff a while ago that was wonderful, and it just got you getting to building with the Aavegotchi stack right away. If there could be an updated version of that for ETH Denver and in general, that would be a wonderful resource. So something else I'm thinking about, and so yeah, I guess that would be kind of coupled into the bounties or the bounty. In general.
I don't know. Do we have a like Aavegotchi Git book, like a builder's Git book, where you could just go in there and it has all the arcade stuff. It has how to kind of get set up with the developer stack, like everything you need to get going.
I'm not the greatest dev, but like if you know how to go through resources, it's all there already with Gotchi. It's the GitHub repo, the contracts, the docs, like the docs, like the game docs, and then like a little bit of imagination for a dev, and like you've got everything you need, as anyone I'm sure can attest to. What doesn't exist is that like just that super simple, like one README, all in one place. You need this, that, and this, and the other thing. There's so many different things to do that it's hard to put it in. Like you could have just a README about one very small microcosm of it, but something with a balance of like getting somebody up and running in a short amount of time. So I don't know if that exists, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe it's a bounty the DAO could put out, like, let's get together like a concise package of how to get started on the protocol in regards to building, and maybe update some of those docs that might be out of date, and kind of just have them in a nice, neat package, like a README file, something like that would be awesome, I think. Yeah, Coder Dan would be a perfect bounty candidate for someone skilled in writing technical docs, though. Yeah. I have had, who was it? I think it was Tommy Gotchi that put something together for Respec Potion, and I thought was well done. I'm sure we have other writers out there that would be happy to do something like that.
Do we have any sense of like what the initial bounties on this D work that we're getting set up are going to be?
Not quite yet. I'm gonna run a couple tests. That is something that we just got integrated into the server, so D work is now part of it. I'm gonna run a couple tests just to make sure everything's working properly. The one bounty out there that I could put out there right now is for the respec potion. Jared was, I think I just saw a DM from him. He was working on it, but he might need some assistance with some of the smart contract work. And so I think that would be a good bounty to put out there. But there aren't a whole lot of bounties out there right now. But through D-Work, you will also be able to put through bounty suggestions. So any of you who have good ideas for bounties, you will be able to submit them through D-Work, and then we can look at them and upvote them if we think they're the good bounties to issue.
Yeah, I expect quite a bit more bounties and a lot more structure once we have maybe some like better DAO like structures in place, right? Because there's so much work to be done, but we just need people to kind of organize it, have a big 360 view of what's going on, what problems we face, and then know who in the community can do these. And D-Work's going to be great because we can make these available for everyone, and that should make it cheaper for the DAO, right? Because then we'll put it up to the market instead of going like to individual builders like, hey, Oliver, can you make the respec potion art? It'd be like, hey, community, can you do this? This is like what we're looking for. I'm just really excited for that evolution over the next couple months because it's going to be really great, and I think we'll be a lot more productive.
There's a D-Work bounty board that already exists or will exist very soon.
Yeah, there is. So for Aavegotchi, actually, I was just talking to Coder Dan before I hang out here. It's officially integrated into the Discord, but it's a private channel. And so I think everybody with the Gotchi Gang role should be able to see it. Let me go check the D-Work page.
Not yet. I made it private
okay.
just for you.
Yeah, so everything's kind of locked down right now, but it is integrated. So we just have to, I'm going to run a couple tests just to make sure everything's working how we want it to. And then tomorrow kind of maybe run through it a little bit.
Does it make sense to promote the D-Work board, like to not duplicate things and just take the D-Work board bounties and popular, like just advertise those in a way at the Biddle week?
That's what I think. Yeah, if we have bounties that are available, so I wrote my pitch above, like, you meet these devs like, oh, what's Aavegotchi? Or it's an NFT gaming protocol. We're making like cutting edge NFT gaming software. We're powered by a DAO. The DAO's got funding. We got a D-Work with some bounties. Are you interested in getting involved? And then at that point, it's like, yeah, yes or no. We just point them over to the D-Work. But to do that, we have to have bounties. So if it depends on what the D-Work looks like at that time in a month from now. But there could be some interesting stuff on there by then.
Yeah,
that might be the most straightforward way to go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right there. And even, maybe even plugging those bounties onto a landing page would be helpful also. Like we can do, I believe you can actually do embed links through dwork. So you can embed like that bounty or just the link of it. Even just the link would be fine, and have just available bounties on that landing page also. Yeah, I think Dr. Wegg makes a good point, but the suggestions box will be helpful. The suggestions feature will be good for anyone who has some great ideas for bounties, even regarding ETH Denver. And maybe we can discuss like putting those out there well before the event.
So the suggestions, that's also, we want to have a channel for that in the Discord, that we can have the bot ping or something when a new suggestion comes out.
That's right. Yeah, when a new suggestion comes out, the bot can ping, and I believe the user in the Discord channel should be able to upvote right there in the channel. So if you like the bounty, you'll be able to vote for it right there, I think.
Speaking of the Discord, we've been playing kind of a spring cleaning for a while. There's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of channels that maybe are underused or not necessary. If you guys have any candidates for things that you think we could get rid of, feel free to drop them here or DM me or something. We're going to be doing a kind of a reboot in a way of the Discord pretty soon. Not a reboot, but just kind of like a spring cleaning and a little bit of a reorganization of it. Because there's a lot of channels.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing at GMI. We got to do a little cleanup and a little restructuring for our Discord so it makes sense for our community. How are you finding the forums? How are people liking the forums in our Discord here compared to other Discords?
Discoverability is kind of an issue, but yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I kind of like using them in the Aavegotchi Discord, but they weren't rare. We tried in the GMI Discord, and it just wasn't getting the engagement that we thought it would. So it just didn't. I think it's good for like if you need to bring up a conversation, like a specific to the DAO, a specific thread, it's useful. But not necessarily for like community engagement. It's not the best.
I mean, personally, I like the, we're talking about the forums, like, how you can go and look at a post, all the posts or conversation for the Forge or for ETH Denver. I think it keeps everything clean in the sense that, like, it's less likely that we're jumping into other topics and you can kind of stay on focus. Initially, it was annoying because it was pinging me every time somebody would say anything in those, but I eventually got that fixed. So I like it for organizational purposes.
Yeah, I did the same thing as you. I turned off the notifications for most of them except for the conversations I wanted to follow. So everything else was just turned off. But I do use it a lot more than I use the traditional forums. I wasn't just I realized there's an app now apparently for the forums that we used to have, the OG forums. Apparently, I think Hardcore, you were saying that there's some sort of an app you can get on your phone for it.
Can't imagine having like in-depth discussions on Discord on like a phone. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's like making like quality posts.
Oh no, I can't do anything like that. I gotta draft all that stuff on my laptop. It's hard.
But yeah, we'll be cutting down on some channels for sure. So if there's any specific candidates or ideas for reorganization, we kind of have a couple ideas already written out. But we need to, knowing that we're going to be onboarding more people this year, we definitely need to clean up the Discord a bit. It's gotten a bit untidy.
Yeah, do we think there's do we think there are any channels that were like this absolutely has to go? Like I think the the media channel, I don't know if we need something like that. Like maybe the general chat, ghost talk, and resources would be good for that section. Then you have all this other stuff. You have Gotchi gang chat, landlords chat, fake Gotchis. Maybe fake Gotchis would be good to have actually, because that's when fake Gotchis drop. It's helpful for that. A lot of different chats to be in. Well, it's cool, right? With the forum feature, you don't need all those. You won't need many of those, I think, with forums, because you can just what you could do is delete the channel and then just open a forum thread for that channel instead in the forum, and that way it kind of takes care of that.
So we're just gonna delete all the channels except for general. Is that what you're saying?
We can get rid of like a large part of them. Like a lot of the chats can be removed and just turned into forum threads.
Oh, that's actually cool. Yeah.
Do we need an Alchemica chat? Because we have a Gotchiverse chat. Couldn't we talk about Alchemica in the Gotchiverse chat?
Probably. Or we could just have a forum thread for it.
We definitely need to keep the director's chat because that just started and we need
Faye says, Hefe, don't turn this into the GMI server. What's going on in the GMI server?
Well, no, what I was saying is the GMI server, what we did there is we got rid of a lot of our main chats that we had, and we rolled it into the forums, but it wasn't getting the type of engagement we wanted there. And I just don't think the forums overall were well suited for what we were trying to do at GMI. I think we're going to go back to the way it was, having like 3 different chat channels for specific things. But it might actually be better, just to Phase's point, it might actually be better to have the forum in something like this where it's almost congested. Like everything's just, it's not a problem of the chats not being used enough. It's kind of a problem of having too many chats, in my opinion.
Like with the forum, how do you, if you just come into the chat and you're like, all right, I'm a total noob. Like, I don't even know what to search for in the forum. Like, how do I get started?
Yeah, well, I have seen with Discord lately, and maybe this is a specific feature you have to turn on, but the kind of like this landing page that comes up, like there's a home page that comes up when you first get to a server, and it has like the most popular forum topic right now. It has like some significant discussions that have been happening. I don't really know how to like queue that feature up, but I've seen it happen with the Aavegotchi server a few times where I've just clicked into the server and it gives you this homepage of the recent activity. That would be helpful to have show up every time for someone who's new coming to the server, see exactly what's going on. That's maybe one way, but
yeah. And then we got the Aavegotchi DAO, obviously very important. You guys maybe can't see a lot of them. There's quite a few channels in there. Actually you probably can. The ideation, active proposals, threads, polls. Do we need all those? Are they really being used, or could we just kill them?
Yeah, I don't know if we're using ideation, polls, active proposals. I'm not sure if we're using all those. And actually, I think some of those were put in there before we started having these regular meetings, even, right? Like these meetings that we have on Sunday, we go through a lot of these things. And so maybe there's no need for that anymore. Gotchi Bull saying right. Keep them. Yeah.
Keep them. It's like every time I go back to my childhood house, I'm like, Mom, you need to clean the house. Like there's so much stuff. She's like, no, I need to keep your 2nd grade, report card. Like, all right, that's awesome, but she's got so much detritus.
Detritus. Get this detritus out of here.
I'm gonna turn it into an NFT. I probably, if I ever make it, guys, I'll turn it into an NFT.
I would buy Coder Dan's 2nd grade report card, fake Gotchi card for sure.
Well, we're probably going to be a bit heavy-handed with it, and if there's we'll move all these to like the archive section first. So if people really like want to bring them back, we'll bring them back. But we do need to do some cleaning up, because I just think about every time someone joins us, they're like, what is going on? Like, what are all these channels? I'd prefer, and now that they have the forum, if you guys are in any like good Discords that use the forum, like they make good use of it, and the discoverability isn't an issue, I'd love to hear, what are some strategies they're using. That's my main thing with it. Like, unless you're following a post, you don't even know it exists. You got to search for it. So maybe we could have, like, I don't know, there's some way to like have a channel that would only show like the hottest post in the forum or something. There's got to be a way to like help curate a little bit, so newcomers would kind of be able to orient themselves.
Yeah, maybe there's some sort of bot. I'm not sure. Could be interesting.
There's a lot of NFTs out there that they don't even have a Discord. They're just like only on Twitter, and everything is done through like Twitter Spaces. I think pretty wild.
Yeah, I didn't use Discord very much before I joined Aavegotchi, to be honest. Like I did play other MMORPGs and stuff, but never really, use in-game chat or whatever for whatever I needed if you're trading an item or something, but not really beyond that. Until I started using Aavegotchi, you kind of need Discord for it. It's like part of the whole package. Will be nice though once we have like some in-game communication features beyond text, and be able to like talk to my neighbor when they're on their parcel or something.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's some really cool tools on Lens right now. I was checking out the Lens like app like roster of all their apps, and they're building a lot of really cool tools on Lens right now. They actually have like it looks like a streaming service. It's like a decentralized streaming service that's being built on Lens. Maybe someone knows more about it than me, but just noticed that the other day. I was like, wow, this is cool.
I don't think there's anything streaming directly there yet, is there? I know the 402 just integrated with Lens, but that's really more of just like a sign in with Lens and token gating with Lens and that kind of stuff, but it's not going to stream directly into Lenster or LensTube or anything like that yet. I know Huddle 01 is working on that, going with LensTube.
Okay, I'm trying to look for it right now, actually, see if I can.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that because I'm hoping that we can stream to LensTube, and then I can embed it to GotchiNews.network, and then just completely 86 YouTube.
Nice.
Lenscast. That's what it's called, I think. Lenscast. Web3 social
cool.
raycast extension built with Lens protocol.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
You guys would probably know, are any of the Lens dApps like charging anything yet to like do a transaction on it, or is it all still like completely gasless with powered by Aave?
It's mostly gasless, but with LensTube, if you want to upload a video over like 50 megabytes on Arweave, then you have to pay Matic for storage.
Yeah, with Bundler.
Yeah, but you can still do it on IPFS for free if you choose to.
Okay, but they're not paying you for like liking, or you don't have to pay to like stuff or
no. That's all gasless still.
Cool.
You
Standings
set
footing
like
the bill.
a dispatch in your settings that does like, so you can just click things without having to sign every time.
Yeah, that's cool. I did talk to someone from the Lens team a while back. They were saying that eventually, like, dApps will need to find their own business model, because Aave can't keep paying Lens all the Lens usage forever.
Right.
They need to. Like, he's like they need the dApps will need to find out figure out a business model. It's like that's pretty interesting. I'm sure there is once you have the traction, it shouldn't be that hard to find a business model.
It will be challenging though. I imagine it's going to get really competitive over time because think about how current social media networks lock you in. You can't take your followers that you've built up and take it somewhere else. Whereas with Lens Protocol, you can. And so it's going to get highly competitive between one social protocol and the other. Like you'll see right now, there's probably about half a dozen to a dozen social media apps on Lens that all seem to be wanting to do the same thing. But what they're competing for is your followers. They want you to bring your followers onto their protocol because that's what's adding value to their protocol. And so it kind of changes the game. The whole game gets changed, and the tables get turned because now these protocols can't lock you in and say, too bad, if you leave, you'll lose all your followers. You'll just leave.
So what are you actually bringing to the protocol if there's 14 different social networks and they all have the same followers and they all have the same content? Is it just curation at that point? They're just curating your content differently.
I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah, and then they got to specialize into. I think there'll be niches for maybe there'll be a social media dApp for just gamers, and then maybe there'll be a social media dApp for people who are just into photography. I think that's the way it's going to go over time. Is they're going to specialize out into their own niches. And you'll go use this social dApp for a specific thing, and then you have your social dApp for people that like cats, and so you're gonna go share your cat stuff over there. I think that's how it's gonna kind of work out.
Well, I think the coolest part is that because it's all on coming out of your profile, every dApp that's created on it is pulling from the same graph and choosing what to display and what not to display. So if you want your videos to look good, you're going to post them on LensTube because they're going to give you the best features to make it look good. But for photos, you might use a different app. But if you just want to scroll and see it all, you're probably going to use Lenster because it's accepting all of those things and showing it to you equally. But on LensTube, you can't see pictures. And on a music app, you're not going to be able to see videos and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah, so different verticals, different platforms. The way that tech goes, it tends to ultimately be one platform having monopoly. But we could see that, and there is a possible case that could get disrupted because everything is shared between all the providers.
I also think it's a similar thing to what we're just talking about our channel, right? We have all these separate, in this Discord server, channels for every little niche, and half of them go unused. So, eventually a lot of it will get thrown away.
Right. You're not going to need a dApp for cat photos because you're just going to use the best photo dApp and fill it up with cats.
I'm going to have to get off here, friends. You guys can probably hear it's heating up outside. We're going to have to go enjoy the spectacle soon. But a great chat as always. And Hefe, real quick, do we have a preview of what we'll be expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we might have a board I can share. Yeah, I do. Here, let me share this with you guys. Hardcore and I just went through it last night. Drop it in the chat. There we go.
Yep. Happy New Year, everyone, friends. Second New Year.
Oh, that's what's going off. Yeah, someone was saying someone's forging in the background, but I guess that's fireworks going off.
Yeah, they're starting to heat up out here. It's going to get really, really insane in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, no, enjoy that.
Guys, I had the biggest lobster I've ever seen today. This thing is huge. I had it for our they do like a lunar year lunch. It was massive. Yeah, it's a different type than that, but it was about as big as that. They get huge. That's what I'm saying. So good. It's the year of the rabbit this year, but actually it's the year of the gotchi. We're gonna eventually have our own zodiac. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah. The year of the raffle. It's gonna come.
Cool. I'm gonna jump off here, friends. We got the preview here. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, there's some stuff missing. We'll be talking about eyes tomorrow for sure. That's one of the things we want to touch on, and then also iterating on the mission and vision. And there's some new business as well. I think we'll cover Infinity Keys a little bit, and there might be one or two things I'm missing here, but it's going to be a good conversation tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great, looking forward. All right, see everyone
Later.
For
anyone still in the chat, join us on our GMI estate. We haven't popped off yet, right? Zombie and Z5. Maybe we can still pop this off. I'm getting ready. Yeah, well, let's get everybody over here. I don't know if we have a bounce gate up yet. Let me see if I can quickly create one, unless someone has one close by. No Future, you got your backyard parcel popped off yet?
I have not popped it, but I also do not have a gotchi that can channel right now.
I was about
That
to
is
say
not-
I don't have a gotcha either.
Actually, I went
Oh.
hard today. Had a lot of channelings today.
Okay. Z5 is ready. I'm ready. We're gonna pop this off here for anybody that does want to join us in District 12, roadside.
I'm here. I think I have a bounce gate. Let me see if I do. Does your bounce gate have an event or no?
Mine's not up yet. I can get one up though.
GMI. And we're gonna do. We just need 1 hour, right?
Yeah. Nobody wants to foot soldier it anymore. They just want to get through the gate.
Yeah. So this one's just called GMI.
Okay. Head through the GMI bounce gate and meet us
You
here.
gotta wait for Polygon.
Yeah.
Give it a minute.
Or if you're an OG, you can foot soldier it here, and you know where we're at. District 12, roadside.
Okay, it should be up now.
Sick. Let's give our friends just a minute to get through the Gotchi Uber here.
Yeah, while we're waiting a minute, I want to say on Wednesday, we're going to be experimenting with streaming on 402. I got set up with an account. Actually, I still need to send them all my info to get set up, but we met yesterday with 402, and they're going to have it's got full Web3 integrations and everything, as well as credit card integrations. So it's got that full Web 2.5 to 3 gap, and the devs there are really cool people. So I'm going to do a stream on Wednesday. It'll probably be a zombie time special music stream. No set plans yet, but it'll be cool. I don't know what time.
For those of yeah, for those
tweet
of the people in the chat right now that maybe don't know what 402 is, I have a general idea, but what is that? Is it like a streaming service? Or
Yeah,
I think it sounds like it's built on Lens.
They're trying to be Web3 Twitch. They basically want to be Twitch. They want everything that Twitch has in it. And we had a long conversation yesterday about streams, and I actually gave him some really good ideas about things that, would be Web3 native things that would Twitch can't do. And he was pretty excited about that. So it's basically, it's streaming with community, being able to interact. And because it's Web3, you have your community's addresses. You can automatically integrate POAP claims and NFT airdrops and things like that. Minting episodes and minting clips from episodes. So pretty cool. It is layer 1 though, but he was saying the gas fees are not insane. They're normal NFT minting gas fees, nothing crazy. But it's layer 1, so it's going to be, it's ETH.
Yeah, the minting clips for episodes is going to be really cool. Even if it's on layer 1, I think that makes it even a little bit more, appealing to the ETH maxis to collect those. And gas isn't so bad right now, so
yeah, that's definitely why I'm going to do music there, because I feel like music NFTs are more popular on Ethereum layer 1, and if I'm going to do performances, special performances, then I'm going to mint them, as ETH NFTs, because they're not going to be throwaways, If I
Yeah,
put my
maybe there's
time
some
into
provenance.
performing, you know what I mean? That's something.
Yeah, maybe there's some provenance too to the layer 1 NFTs. I don't know. That's a good conversation for someone to have. Is like are layer 1 NFTs just valued higher because they're on layer 1, just for that reason. Oh, we got a whole bunch of friends coming through our portal here. Welcome everybody. This is really cool. It's like a impromptu host party here, GMI. I'll pop it off here. I'm gonna let my alter go here. Z-Fi, I think you're gonna be popping yours off here. So let's see what we get.
All right, I'm going a little north.
We popping.
Trying to get away from some gotchis. I don't know why my displays aren't showing my art.
I picked my highest kinship. Oh yeah, I see your NFTs aren't showing up there. I can't see them. So
yeah, they're not showing for me either. Ooh, here we go. Getting that kick.
Here we go. 90% fallen. It's gonna rain down. Got my 1000 XP gotchi here. 1000 kinship gotchi. Channeling. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah, today was a good hangout. I picked up a lot about Chemica. I got most of my channeling done right before the hangout, and I was just renting gotchis and going to, like if their land, if they had like level 3s or level 4s, I didn't care. I would just go and pick up as much of the Alchemica as I could to kind of make up for the difference from the spillover.
Yeah, I agree with what Z-Bot's saying there. Like the art provenance is definitely there for layer 1 art. And I think we need to make that make the polygon side of things a little bit more appealing to them. And it is a little bit more appealing with fake gotchis in my opinion, because nobody's done that aside from fake rare.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Aavegotchi is well positioned to be the first blue chip NFT on Polygon. I think part of the reason that ETH Layer 1 has provenance is obviously because it was first, but then it's also because the level of spam that you can do on Polygon makes it to where, like, how do you know which NFTs aren't spam? And Aavegotchi and fake gotchi cards and all that is well positioned to be like, no, this is an ecosystem that keeps it tight. You know that these are good assets. The only problem is it not looking good on OpenSea, because then like your normal NFT people who come into Polygon for the first time might try to buy on OpenSea and they're going to be like, this looks like a scam. So you actually have to come over to our bazaar and use our like interface to like believe in it.
Yeah, everything's locked in there, which is kind of a good thing too, I think. I'm just reading some of the comments here. Choin is saying most ETH guys still think all Polygon NFTs are spam. I think that's what you were just speaking to, Zombie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think once you get over here, you realize you start to tell what's what, but that's probably also like any other network besides Ethereum. Like, I'm sure Solana's the same way.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, man. I think if you're looking at Solana versus Polygon NFTs, just given like what's happened on the Solana chain in the last year, Polygon hasn't had we've had gas issues, but like we haven't had like Sandeep hasn't turned Polygon off. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't think
you definitely don't have those issues. I just meant like the NFT communities and the appearance of what's legit and not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because thinking like if you go on Twitter and you look at Solana Twitter, say when they moved over, I forgot the name of the D-Gods, I think it was, or Utes, they moved to Polygon. The amount of FUD on Polygon from Solana like homies was ridiculous. Considering what their chain is, and they were throwing every little thing in the book out at us. And it's kind of funny because a lot of it was this hate of biz dev, like, paying projects to come over to your chain because they're on a dying chain, and people hating on that. So it's just interesting to see how people react. And we don't take, a lot of people don't take Solana seriously in the NFT world, and to see them, not take Polygon serious is kind of funny.
I mean, we do see, like, if we're looking for normie onboarding, it might happen on Polygon first, because we do have, like, all these, like, other, like, Web2 companies coming online, like Reddit and Meta, and, they're going to bring their own crowds. And I think those crowds will eventually look beyond whatever they signed up for, right? Like, if you signed up for the Starbucks Odyssey program, you're not going to just like look at Starbucks NFTs forever. I think eventually you'll probably broaden your horizons and see what else is on Polygon. What else can I collect?
You're gonna be getting them Smurfs.
Oh yeah, they're getting the Smurfs. I forgot about that. And they're actually doing really. They haven't done their official release yet, but I like how they're like getting the word out and getting
The
people
Smurfs
excited.
community is whipped up, bro. It's crazy. They might beat us to blue chip.
Oh dang, dude! I really like their marketing approach to everything. Bit impressed. The Trump NFTs, were those on Polygon as well?
No, I thought
It's
this
hilarious.
Blair one.
Oh
I don't know.
yeah. Oh, they were on Polygon.
Oh man. Never mind. Trump beat everybody to blue chip. There you go.
Trump just came on and made his own blue chip. And people were talking about the NFT being like, a lot of like the guy who did the design like actually has like copyright issues he's gonna run into because they're using like branding that like is not Trump brand stuff during the mint. Yeah, I bought the fake rare version of whatever that was, the Trump drop. I bought the fake rare. Someone made a fake rare on it. I'm surprised no one's made a fake Gotchi Trump card. That should happen. When Gotchi Trump? Exactly. Trump a Gotchi. We need it. Make it. Someone.
I think we've largely avoided the politics here. Like, there hasn't been a Biden Gotchi. There hasn't been. I mean, we're also an international community, so there could be, like someone who's like annoyed with the French prime minister or something like that, But we don't seem to have that here.
I think the closest we've got to is with my fake Sam. I think that's the closest we've got to inserting a IRL, sketchy character into the Gotchiverse.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's like, for you, would you do a piece on Trudeau if like you had a particularly strong opinion about him?
Oh, I do. I have a lot of strong opinions about him. I do have many fake Gotchi cards about. I don't know if they'd I don't know if they'd make it through the queue though. That's the only thing.
Is getting political considered not friendly?
Maybe. I guess it depends on the take, right? Like how you make
It's
the
the
card.
same reason we don't talk about religion. It's just like, nope. I love that Kevin Gotchi. That's cool. How about sports? You guys, we're here. We're waiting till the very. I guess actually spillover's over, so we could end this. But does anybody have any particular favorite in the NFL for this weekend? I haven't really been paying attention since my team was eliminated. But anybody?
I'm not big into the NFL. I just watch the Super Bowl every year. That seems to be. That's just my level of engagement with that.
Yeah, Sir Linkius is the Giants fan. I root for the Giants. They beat the Patriots twice in pivotal moments in that dynasty. So and I'm from New York, but I'm a Jets fan. So it's like a dumpster fire every year. But the Giants are still in it, right? They're still going? I thought the Dolphins were eliminated too. I know. Oh, they play Philly tonight. That's going to be a big game. Damn, that's a big game.
I gotta roll out, friends. This was a
Yeah.
fun hangout.
Hell
Let's do this again tomorrow for the DAO.
Let's do it again.
Let's just repeat it. Yeah.
All right, friends, take it easy.
Cool. See y'all later.
Later, friends. Peace.